Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron, great to have you here. I almost said with Biblical Archaeology today. This is not Biblical Archaeology today. We're thankful you're here, and New Life of Albany. And we're looking today on why read the King James Version and its fuller doctrinally superior text. So this is on sites.google.com, KJV today. I want to make sure I give proper attribution there. Sites.google.com. And I'm just going to read some stuff about this on this wonderful article. Great website. I'd run across it many years ago, and then you couldn't find it. Then Brother Kilman refound it under sites.google.com. So we're very grateful for that. So the KJV, I'm just going to read and explain. I've got dozens of videos on this subject on the channel, about 6,000 videos. Fuller doctrinally superior text. The KJV, the New Testament, as with the New King James Version, is based on the Textus Receptus, and I'll say the MEV as well. And also like the Literal Standard Version, I think is, which takes readings from both the Byzantine and Western families of New Testament manuscripts. Many popular translations, such as the NASB, of 8 different NASBs out there or something, maybe more. NIV, of multiple NIVs, ESVs, multiple ESVs, CSB, I think there's now multiple CSBs, and NRSVs as well, are based on the Nestle's Island text, such as the Nestle's Island 27th, UBS 4th, of which now they're at the 28th or 29th in the 5th edition, which is based on the Alexandrian family of manuscripts, that which comes from Egypt. Place, like with File of Alexandria, others, the demonstrable error there. There is some Markan tradition. The Mark went down there. So not everybody in Egypt was corrupt. Obviously, the Ethiopian eunuch just south of Egypt, Acts 8. So translations based on these Alexandrian readings omit or cast doubt on many important words and verses, such as the ending of Mark, the story of the adulteress, John 8, 1 through 11, actually 7:53 through 8:11, the inclusion of the Lord's Prayer, Matthew 6:13, the angel at the pool, John 5:4, the confession of the Ethiopian eunuch, Acts 8:37, Matthew 12:47, Matthew 17:21, Matthew 18:11, Matthew 21:44, Matthew 23:14, Mark 7:16, Mark 9:44, Mark 9:46, Mark 11:26, Mark 15:28, removing the word Calvary, Luke 17:36, Luke 22:43, Luke 22:44, Luke 23:17, Acts 15:34, Acts 24:7, Acts 28:29, Romans 16:24, 1 John 5:7, and I'll mention like Acts 9:5 and 6, and so many other. Like the NIV is 64,000 words shorter, approximately, than the King James Version. And so I've done multiple videos doing comparisons, NIV, CSB, maybe NLT, LSV, or the LSB, the new MacArthur translation, ESV, and there's substantial changes, far more than those. And I've done a recent video series on 300 changes. I hope that's uploaded because we've been having terrible technological difficulties. We've lost dozens of videos, many weeks worth of videos. Okay, so it's generally accepted, even by proponents of the Alexandrian text, that the Textus Receptus readings are doctrinally superior. As a matter of fact, Westcott and Hort had to come up with a conflation of majesty theory out of whole cloth, which is not how ancient scribes did. They removed far more than they inserted. But there's a penalty for both scripturally. The main page of this website has links to pages defending the Textus Receptus. Now also, the KJV accuracy. The KJV is an essentially literal translation. Many new translations, such as the NIV and the NLT, and many others, the Holman Christian Standard was, are based on translation philosophy called dynamic equivalence, made popular by Eugene Nida of the American Bible Society. Which I think it was Nida who was talking about people didn't know what a lamb was overseas, so they translated a pig for sacrifice. It's like, with dynamic equivalence, translators act more as interpreters rather than translators. Thus, readers of these dynamic translations end up reading more of the interpretations of scholars rather than the actual biblical text, like the Amplified Bible would probably be the king of that. The NKJV, NASB, and ESV are also essentially literal translations. I'll say that LSB is pretty much as well. The NRSV, some of these are kind of middle ground. For an excellent introduction on the subject, please read this online booklet written by Leland Ryken, a member of the ESV committee. Now, what's fascinating about that is Leland Ryken is kind of a big KJV fan. His son, Philip Ryken, does a lot of work too. And so, I've done a review on the book he wrote, like the precursor to the ESV coming from the RSV, which is terrible text-based translation, horrible in so many different ways. Almost all sincere biblical Christians, and a very broad definition of that term, saw that when it came out and for thereafter, and that's the reason it kind of died on the vine. But he said, look, if we're going to come up with a thing to compete with the KJV, we better make a translation that sounds like the KJV, and that's why the ESV is so popular, because he was a literary editor. So it's a literal translation. It's fully doctrinally superior. And we're going to get on something with the these and thous. I've done multiple videos on that in times past, but we're going to do another one. But not this video. So thanks for listening. Check out our other videos on the channel on a whole variety of subjects. Also, check us out on Biblical Archaeology Today with Steve Waldron on Spotify. God bless you. Love you. Bye.